age. All right. And as always, we want to make sure that we are taking massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering trade, preparing you for any outcome, centering yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So if everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat and we will get rocking. All right, perfect. I appreciate that. Perfect, perfect. Appreciate it. All right. Let's hop over to the fundamental side of things. See what's happening around the world. We got uh President-elect Donald Trump um making statements regarding future policy that caused some shifts in the market yesterday. And so we'll take a look to see what he has to say and what the market's response was. All right, so over to trading economics we go. Um, all right, so the dollar jumps. The DXY climbed back above 107 on Tuesday as President-elect Donald Trump reinforced his threats to raise tariffs, particularly on China, Mexico, and Canada. China, Mexico, and Canada. Um, Driving renewed demand for the greenback. Trump stated that he would impose an additional 10% tariff on all Chinese goods entering the U.S., as well as a 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada. The index had fallen 0.6% on Monday, following Trump's nomination of hedge fund manager Scott Bassett as Treasury Secretary, providing markets a sense of stability. Looking ahead, investors are keenly awaiting the release of the latest FOMC meeting minutes, PCE inflation data, and other key economic indicators this week, which could provide further insight into the Federal Reserve's monetary policy stance. The dollar strengthening across the board, with the Australian dollar weakening the most, um, as it is seen as a liquid proxy to China, right? Primary trade partner. So this this tariff situation, uh, watch out for inflation to increase. That's just the plain way to say it, right? Um, some articles out there on Bloomberg discussing this. They were talking in regard to China primarily. Um, some of the goods that come from China, they don't have a direct replacement, and so it's going to be higher prices. Um, but then your tariffs on Canada as well. So um, watch for inflation to increase. And so that's going to put the Fed in an interesting position on how swiftly do they cut, right? Because they're already seeing inflation being somewhat sticky as it stands today. Um, but what do rate cuts look like going into 2025 before some of these things get implemented? And you have this balance, right? So they're trying to balance things now and then just looking ahead, right? what do things look like in 2026, 2027 regarding inflation as these tariffs really get implemented into the cycle. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what the Fed's path is, understanding that this is what's to come, right? That may not be a conversation in the meeting minutes that are released today, but going forward, that's going to be a conversation that I'll be looking at regarding future monetary policy um, and fiscal policy that's coming from the president in the future. So it'll be interesting to see how the market continues to respond. We could see the dollar continue to rally because that means higher inflation. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how things go moving forward. But keep that in the back of our minds as we travel into 2025 and beyond. Um, that's the biggest piece right there. Let's go over to the calendar. Let me reset this. So this is where we are today. We have consumer confidence report coming out at 10 o'clock, new home sales, Richmond Manufacturing Index at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. We got FOMC meeting minutes. You got CPI coming out of Australia at 7:30, and then cash rate for the New Zealand dollar tonight at 9 o'clock. Okay, so definitely things to move the market there and then down. So we'll watch, see how things go tonight and see what the market has to say going into preparation for the Thanksgiving holiday break. On Wednesday, we got preliminary GDP quarter over quarter, unemployment claims, core durable goods, and durable goods orders, preliminary GDP price index for the dollar on Wednesday. Then we got core PCE data at 10 o'clock, crude oil inventories, and then CPI data coming out of the Eurozone. All right. And then CPI data coming out of, no, that's on Thursday. So then on Thursday, right, German preliminary CPI, Governor Bullock speaks out of Australia. Obviously, we got a Thanksgiving holiday on Thursday here in the United States. The core CPI for the yen on Thursday as well. And then headed into Friday. Retail sales numbers, CPI for the euro, and then Governor Bailey speaks, GDP for Canada, and then manufacturing PMI for China. All right. Um, that's where we are right now from a fundamental perspective. Are there any questions? Oh, all right. Billy, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you,
How you
Ryan?
doing? I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Man, doing pretty good. It's almost Thanksgiving, so
Almost Thanksgiving, man.
yeah, yeah, much needed break. So been running hard this year. So good to have some downtime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Talk to me, man. What's top of mind for you this morning?
Man, just President Trump and these tariff threats. You know,
Yes.
and another 10% on China, 25% tariffs on our close neighbors, Canada and Mexico. Uh, just shenanigans, man. And just seeing how it's going to impact the market. Futures this morning are flat. Everybody's trying to assess. the latest from President-elect. So it's exhausting already, to be honest. Like it is, man. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. But I've just been paying attention to that, paying attention to the crypto space, right? We see that Bitcoin is shit a bit after its run, but that's typical. The market moves in waves, so still project that to move to 100,000, and that's it as we head into Thanksgiving. You got some just market uncertainty with new regime coming in. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But this is what happened. This is what happened the last time. Tweets in the middle of the night, moving the market, volatility. So we'll see.
So what is your anticipation on how the tariffs will impact the market from a currency perspective and then from a stock ETF perspective?
I mean, it's gonna be seen as an inflationary. I mean, the tariffs, they're gonna pass the cost over on the consumer.
Hmm.
So this is why people see the policy as inflationary. You know, um, stock market is yet to be seen. You got a rally yesterday because who was that he picked yesterday?
Oh,
Was it
the Treasury
the
Secretary?
Treasury Secretary? Because people think that with this guy's experience, he might be a go between the major extremes, and this whole tariff situation. So people are kind of happy about that, but man, who knows?
Yeah,
It,
hedge
it, it,
fund
it,
manager.
it yeah, right, right. A hedge fund manager. Yeah, all of these hedge funds do great every year. Yeah, right. So we probably have some people in the group outperforming half of these hedge funds. So we'll see. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. It depends on what he tweets, honestly. Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. The policy is seen as inflationary. Um, it can hurt the chances of an economic soft landing for the United States. But it's nothing different than what we said from the outset. There's nothing really different than what everybody's been saying about these
right.
policies. So hopefully, you know, some of the guardrails of government that's left can 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 kind of stand in the way of a lot of the extreme uh, points of the policy. So we'll see what happens.
We shall see, bro. We shall see. All right, team. Let's see. Joyce said, yeah. The Renaissance Center in Detroit, the Detroit skyline. There's a proposal to change what that looks like. We shall see if that gets approved. They're asking for taxpayer dollars to tear down some of the towers. So that'll be interesting to see. Um, it'll be interesting to see.
So they want taxpayers to pay for monuments that they built to themselves.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
So we'll see. It's impacting everything. Like I read this morning, Walmart pulls back on DEI efforts, moves some LGBTQ merchandise from the website. So there's all types of things that's starting to change already in anticipation of them coming into office. So we'll see what that does to numbers financially, things like that. But all
Interesting.
so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. It's gonna move at a fast pace. You know, once they come into office, because the moves are already starting to be made. You see the reaction. You see the reaction. So we'll see.
Interesting. Uh, I won't get into the DEI conversation because we could spend hours having that. Um, but um, yeah, yeah,
Long story short, companies have been proven to be more profitable.
yep,
So when you have when you have that in place, right? You
Yep.
diversify everything else. You diversify your stock portfolios. They tell you they tell you should do that to be successful, but you don't diversify your company. So but anyway, uh
Yeah.
whatever's next, man.
Whatever's next. Let's go. DXY. We got a push yesterday. We're pushing back down to the downside right now. Um, this is on the 4 hours. Come back to the daily in that retracement zone. So we broke that 107 level. Now we're getting a pullback. Let's see how deep this pullback comes. We could come back down to this 105, 128 area. Previous resistance could serve as future support. So let's watch and see on this retracement how deep we come, and then see if we're able to get back long with the long-term expectation. Yeah, man. With the longer term expectation of the future president's fiscal policy being inflationary. So let's watch this and see how things go. We'll see what comes out of the meeting minutes today, and we'll see how conversations go from um, FOMC members regarding inflation. As some of them are saying, they don't want to rush to cut, understanding the future of tariffs and things like that. Then you have some that are still looking for cuts in the near term, and then looking to see how things go from there. So it's not off the table for another cut this year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But in that up retracement zone right now. So we'll see how deep that pullback comes. Uh, so back to the four, you see we're moving to the downside here. So let's see if we stay inside this AB boundary on the four. Okay, so we'll watch that from that longer term perspective there. So that is the DXY. I want to take a look at some of these Aussie plays. Um, this Aussie CAD finally turning around and getting a nice push to the upside. Stochastic pushing higher in the zone there, but we got another swing. If we close bullish here today, we'll have another swing low as a higher low here on the daily. So we're headed to the upside here. We've been looking for this thing to turn around for a minute, and we're finally getting that move. As we come down to the four, right? Just push deeper in the zone, but we stayed inside that AB boundary on the four. So 8-6 retracement, looking at a matching extension of 94,402. Okay, so trying to break the cloud, strong push to the upside. We got a Kumo twist. Lagging span is above price. Now we just need that full cloud break. So let's look for a pullback here. We'll see what it looks like on the one, but look for a pullback here and then see if we're able to get back long, break that cloud, and continue this move to the upside. All right, so that's our fib there on the four. Looking for that move long to get started on this Aussie CAD. And then over to the 1 hour, that 80-20 is continuing to make its move to the upside with that higher low there. And then we got the push, got to that 382 level, that TP1 off that 80-20, right? So now let's see if we get that pullback and a continuation to the upside here. All right. So looking for that action there. Okay. Let's see. There you go. AB boundary. See if we get a pullback into the zone and then a continuation to the upside. Okay, so that one is on the move. Like I said, got the TP1 off that 80-20. Now we'll look for a continued move to the upside. Questions on the Aussie CAD?
No, sir.
No, cool beans. Aussie yen, it's still range bound, right? Still range bound. Still looking for this to move to the upside. Um, It'll be interesting now with the tariff situation. We'll see how CPI in Australia comes out, but um Still looking for this to move long here. We haven't been able to break the support level at 99 to 484. So we're trapped in this range here. So look for this to push back to the upside at some point. I think we'll break that 102 level and then continue that move long. So really looking at this from a range play in the short term. But overall, still looking forward to head to the upside. On the 4 hour, we got stochastic in the buy zone. You see that turnover there, trying to get a push. So we'll see if we get some continued movement to the upside here as we move through the day today. And then down to the one, right? You've come back on a double bottom ish at this $99 level, and then you see the push here, right? Getting flat now, but as we potentially next week, right, as things probably start to slow down at the end of business today, and into tomorrow, but double bottom, we'll see if we get a push to the upside here, taking us back long on this Aussie yen. Okay, so looking for that one to continue that move to the upside. Came back to that 618 retracement zone, so looking for a continuation to the upside there. Okay, questions on the Aussie yen?
No, sir.
No. Okay. I was in New Zealand. Benny posted this one in the community yesterday. Come back retesting previous resistance here. This is a daily resistance. Um, resistance. We'll see if this serves as future support, but we got stochastics still in the sell zone. We got rate statement coming tonight for the New Zealand dollar, right? So this could actually continue moving to the downside. We'll see how that rate statement comes out. But we're testing that previous resistance level right now at 110. Okay. We closed bearish. That does give us a swing high here with that stochastic in the sell zone. So actually looking for this one. I'll change my previous statement. Looking for this one to break through that level and potentially continue that move to the downside. Maybe we get a slight pullback, but swing high, stochastic in the sell zone. Look to see this continue moving to the downside. So here on the 4, fresh AB boundary, that fib is off a little bit, should be there, but up retracement zone nonetheless. Okay. And we'll look to see that continue moving down. The post in the community was here on the 1. 80-20 move to the downside. Boom. Right. Beautiful play. You got a push. And you got a nice pullback back into the zone, retesting the top of the cloud, and then that continuation down. So look for this to continue moving to the downside, especially with that stochastic in the sell zone. So look for some continued movement there. Potentially after the Thanksgiving holiday, after the rate statement, we'll see that continue moving to the downside here. Okay, so that was the play there. It's already in motion. I think it was yesterday morning you posted this, Benny. But off that pullback, you're down 57 pips. I'll look forward to continue there.
Yep. Yesterday.
Cool beans. Questions on this Aussie New Zealand? Cool beans. Cool deal. Aussie dollar. Interesting play. We had the dollar gain some strength yesterday with the tariff conversation, but you see, we weren't able to break this level here. We weren't able to break that 64,390 level. So Stochastic gets pushing into the sell zone. So let's see how price moves here. See what happens as we continue to move through this week and next week. But that level is held so far. Okay. So we'll see. Come down to the 4. Right. You see the bounce off that level. Double bottom look on the 4. But I had a fib here. Um, that's my fib on the 1. So we already got to a 618 retracement there. Push down, not able to close below. Let's see if we get a cloud break on this 4. You see we're kind of starting to press sideways here with the cloud. If at some point we get a cloud break here, look for this to continue to the upside as the dollar potentially tails off for a little bit. Um, we'll see what happens with the meeting minutes as well. But if we get a cloud break here, look for a continued move potentially just back to the 66,869 level, and then we'll see how the market responds from there. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's on the 4. And then coming down to the 1, we took out the A on that push down. And so that's our fib on the reversal there. So pressing higher in the zone there on the 1. I will see if we stay inside that AP boundary or not. But we could be range bound at least through the rest of the week, and then we'll see how things pick up end of the week and into next week. So that's the Aussie dollar. Questions there? It's going to be interesting to see. Nope. Okay. Cool deal. Look at this Euro Aussie starting to turn around. Benny talked about it on Saturday. But we pushed down to this 160 level, not able to close below, and we're pushing back to the upside. With head and shoulders pattern here that missed that look there, but finished out. Stochastic in the buy zone. Now we're starting to push back to the upside. So let's see if we get some catalyst for this to continue moving long here, but swing low forming as long as we close bullish today. Okay. Um, so with that, stochastic in the buy zone, swing low, triple bottom there. Look for this to continue moving long, and we'll see if we're able to finally get to our match and extension here at 172 over the long term. Okay, so looking long here on this Euro Aussie, coming down to the 4. We took out that A on that continued move to the downside back to that support. And there's your fresh AB boundary on the reversal. Okay, so we got stochastic in the sell zone on the 4. So we could see a pullback before we get that continuation. Okay. So we'll track the fibs on this one. To the upside. So look for a pullback into the sweet spot and then a continuation long. Okay. Down on a 1. There was your 80-20 as we pushed into the zone. And there's your reversal. Right. So let's see if we got another 80-20 here on the pullback. So let's see if we get a nice deep retracement here, potentially setting us up for another potential crown pattern on the reversal long. Let's watch and see how things develop here. Okay, so that's the Euro Aussie retracement and then a continuation to the upside. All right, more of a longer term play long. Excuse me. Long term, I'm looking long here, but in the short term, could get a retracement. Then that continuation Questions on the Euro Aussie? Um, then to round out these Aussies, I'm look at the pound Aussie similar scenario where we have pushing to the upside. This is be our first candle to the right of the low, but we got stochastic in the buy zone as well. Okay. So do we confirm the support level as a swing low and get this continued move back to the upside in this range that we've been in for a while, right? Since June, just moving back and forth. So at the bottom of the range, see if we push back to the top of the range, and we'll see how things go, right? But swing low, stochastic in the buy zone. So looking for price to move to the upside as we potentially confirm that swing low over the next couple of days. Coming down to the 4. This is where we sit. And you also got here, if this continues to move, wow, okay. Um, so let's see if we move back to the top of that range or potentially beyond. We'll see. All right. But potential long opportunity here on this pound Aussie, moving back to the at least to the top of the range, right? With that swing low forming, that's 500 pips back to a daily resistance level. So nice move to the upside potentially. We'll come down to the 1. There's your 80-20 to the upside. Nice cloud break, pull back, retest the cloud, and see if we can get that continuation on the move up. All right. So 80-20 long there. That A could get taken out as we push back to that 197.50 level. Okay. Questions on the pound Aussie as we look for this one? Continue long as well.
Nope.
Okay. Cool deal. Let's go take a look at. We got a rate statement tonight. So New Zealand dollar, just to see where things live here. You see overall, that's our range. So we're at the bottom of the range now. Bring this up a bit. Boom. All right. So let's see where things go with the rate statement. Um, Testing the support level here. Interesting. All right, so that's where we stand there on the daily. As we come down to the 4, I'm gonna run a fib just from the top of the range here. Already got to a 382 on the push up. Let's see what happens with the rate statement on this one. With the dollar retracing, we could see this push higher in the zone here, and then we'll see, like I said, from a rate statement, what type of catalyst that gives us as well uh, on a potential move long on this New Zealand dollar. Down to the 1. Already got a deep retracement, just missed the D extension here. Just missed the D extension on that push down. Then we got the reversal, trying to break the cloud here. Trying to break the cloud here. Excuse me. Let's see if we are able to get a continued move along here. So this one is in between. We'll watch and see what happens with the rate statement. Like I said, could see push to the upside, especially with the dollar potentially continuing a retracement. So we'll watch and see how price moves here. So not much. Just looking to see where price is on this one. Questions on this New Zealand dollar?
No, sir.
New Zealand CAD, right? You see that strong push to the upside with the tariff talks, right? And this is on the 1 hour, but move to the upside. So I'll come back to this, but pull back and potential continuation long there. Overall, just inside that A boundary here on that push to the upside, right? Let's see, I haven't updated this one in a minute. Cool. Okay, so we got that continuation to the downside. Up, up. This cough is killing me this morning. Um, got a nice push off the low. Let's see if we get pullbacks and continuations to the upside here. It's a daily time frame. Close bullish. That confirms that swing low, that support level. Stochastic pushing down into the buy zone. Could see this continue long, right? Could see this continue long. Coming down to the 4. There's your 80-20. Shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. Tariff talks push to the upside. So look for a pullback and continuation here. Potential head and shoulder type action. Pull back down into this range. And then we'll look see if we get that continuation to the upside. Okay. There's your 80-20 there though. It's interesting how price leads us into this zone and then there's some sort of conversation that pushes us out. It always fascinates me. Always fascinates me. But we'll look for this head and shoulders action and continuation to the upside here. Right. So we'll watch that on the 4 hour coming down to the 1. Whoops. That's not it. Back to that 1 hour. We'll look for that pullback and continuation. We already had that deep retracement. Didn't get to the D extension. We're turning over, pushing long. So we'll watch this way. And maybe you push up and get an 80-20 there, right? And that turns into a crown, but looking for reversal nonetheless. Same story. Okay, so that's what we're looking at on the New Zealand CAD. Questions here?
Nope.
All right, cool. Give me 1 second, everybody. My bad, everybody. Had to give me a cough drop. Um, but no questions on this New Zealand CAD. Um, New Zealand Swissy. Let's see where we are here. Clean some of this up, and we'll come back to the daily. Let's see. There we go. When we got to the 382, we pushed down, not able to break out of this range and get to the D extension. Just been hovering at the lows here. And there's our support. Stochastic still lower in the range. We'll see what the rate statement offers us, but just been trapped here for quite some time. Just been trapped. Um, so not a ton doing on this New Zealand Swissy. We'll look at this on both sides. Nothing there. Nothing there. So we'll watch and see where this one goes. Stochastic on the 4 hours also in the buy zone. We could see this move to the upside, depending on what this rate statement is and what the conversation after. But ultimately, as long as we don't move into some extreme risk off scenario, we could see price move to the upside, at least in the short term. New Zealand is also primary trade partner in China. So um, we'll see how things go with fiscal policy and the impact on these currencies. Uh, Over the long term, I do anticipate these currencies gaining strength. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. So that's where we sit on the 4. And then down on your 1, we took out the A. And probably just a mix on these. Probably just a mix on these smaller waves. Yep. And took out the A on both sides. So we're pulling back there. That's where we sit. Range bound. We'll see if we get a breakout after the rate statement. Okay. So that's where we are in the New Zealand Swissy. Then New Zealand yen. Let's see. Took out the A on the 1. Same as the rest of these yen crosses, right? We got retracements. Stochastic is in the buy zone on the daily. Somewhat range bound here. Looking for price to move back to the upside. Right? There's a larger fib there. 618 retracement. We just missed that 786 level. Moving back long. um, did we miss it? Let me see. Um, 83,042. No, we did hit it. We did hit it. No, we missed it. That's 82.8. So we did miss that 786 level. um, so let's watch and see, right? Push back to the upside on this New Zealand yen. Stochastic still down at the bottom of the range, close to that buy zone. Kind of hovered sideways through that cloud break, and then we pulled back. So definitely like to see a bullish move here on the cloud break for that continuation to the upside. But just like the rest of the yens, still betting on those on the yen to be short. Um, so all the crosses moving to the upside against the yen. Um, over the medium term. So you see here on the 4, we got to a 382 retracement, just shy of a 50% retracement with that push down. Could potentially push down a little lower before this rate statement, but ultimately at some point looking for that reversal back to the upside. Okay. So that's your 4. Then coming down to the 1. We're going to run this off the high and just look at these smaller waves here. And we'll track these waves to the, got the fib coming down, but I think it's just a pullback or continuation to the upside. Okay. So that's a New Zealand yen. Questions here? No? All right, cool deal. I wanted to cover those today just with the rhetoric from President-elect Donald Trump, and with the rate statement ahead. I want to take a look at those to see where price sits. Um, we got about 10 minutes remaining. Do you guys have anything you want to take a look at before we wrap up the day? Gold, oil, nat gas. You got it. Look at oil since we're sitting here. Just range bound right now. All right. Range bound right now. Things have been somewhat quiet as far as the news goes coming out of Russia, Ukraine, and the Middle East. But we got a swing low here, trying to push to the upside. Got a pullback. Stochastic is in the sell zone, so we'll see how things go over the next couple of days with the holiday and such. But we could potentially pull back a little deeper and then see if we're able to continue that move to the upside there. Um, we shall see from a daily time frame perspective. Down on the 4, right, you see that range a little more clearly here. Stochastic is in the buy zone here. So we'll watch and see how this back and forth battle goes. But with the stochastics on the daily and the 4 different, that also spells range. Um, so we could see this continue to bounce back and forth here for a little while. Double bottom scenario there, right? But let's see if we get a catalyst to push that to the upside and break us above that $72 level. On the 1, I'm just going to run a fib off the bottom here. Boom. 8-6 retracement and got a cloud break. Trying to head to the upside. Could see a pullback before the continuation. Oops. Boom. So headed north here off the 1. Let's see if we get that continuation. 71.69 gets us back to the high. Let's see if we're able to continue to the top of the range of 72. Okay. That's where we are on oil. Let me go back. Let me look at yeah. That's where we sit on the weekly with fibs running off the low. So it'll be interesting to see. Haven't been able to break this $66 level, right? Been tested multiple times. So let's see what happens here over the long term. Let's see what happens. Curious to see. $141. I'm curious to watch this develop to see if this fib plays out and we get some changes over the long term for price to make its way back to the upside here. Getting back to these $90, $100 ranges. We shall see. But that's the fib on the screen. Let's see if it plays out. Let's see if it plays out. If the powers that be allow for oil to move long. It'll also be interesting. Donald Trump in the White House, he's not the biggest fan of the EV movement. Um, so we'll see how the money changes from funding for EV development and all of that, and more emphasis on gas vehicles again. Um, and how that narrative shift could also impact oil and the use and the demand for oil. So it'll be interesting to see as things develop as well. But let's see how things move here. Curious. But that's oil. Questions on oil? Cool deal. Uh, Gold. Nice retracement there on the one. Let's come back to the daily. Clean this up a bit. Maybe. Oops, there we go. All right, so 80-20 down just shy of the 382. Crown pattern. I think Reese pointed this out in the community. Stochastic in the sell zone. We see this crown fill out and get us down into deep retracement zone. Stochastic is in the sell zone here. Nice deep retracement, 618 level, right? That's kind of a beautiful textbook scenario here, right? So off of this, maybe a slight pullback on the lower time frame and see if we get this continuation to the downside, fill out this crown, and complete the 80-20 sequence to the downside, potentially get us a TP2, and then give us a low price to get back long. 30-minute fib. Okay, I'll drop down there. But 80-20 there on the daily. Okay. Coming down to the 4. 80-20 on the 4 also. Took out the A on these down fibs. Take that out. But boom. 80-20 came back and retested the zone. And we get another move back down to the downside. So gasking the buy zone here, which could kind of serve that retracement there, which we'll see what Reese is looking at here on the 30. but retracement and then potential continuation to the downside. Down on the one. I'll pull this out now. Is there a larger fib first? Nope. Okay. So on this one, right, that got taken out. Boom. There's your 1 hour AB boundary just shy of the 118 level. But if we get a pull back into this range, give us a nice high price to get back short, complete that daily 80-20 and that daily crown, right? Retesting previous support, breakout zone, right? And our sweet spot, 618-786 retracement. Okay. So now as we come down to the 30, there's your AB boundary, similar to the one, right? So can we get a high price here, get short on gold, at least in the shorter term? And then we'll look for a low price to get back long once we get in a sweet spot on the daily. Questions on gold? This is the fib you got on the 30, Reese? Cool. Joy, what are you seeing here on gold? Similar deal?
I was looking at the 4 hour because it's actually, I have to run them again, but I don't have any active fibs. Um, and it's breaking above the cloud.
Yeah, we did get a cloud break there. Yeah.
I'm, I'm just waiting on like confirmation because I can't tell whether my lag, I don't think the lag broke up yet, but it's forming support right there and it's a weekly level. I don't think it got hit yet because I ain't redid my line yet at 260189.
Let's see.
Well, that area.
This area here.
I got this at 260189.
01. Okay.
But that area right there from 260 to 2550, that block right there is where the weekly 80-20 zone was. So it's like right above that.
Right in the zone here.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I was seeing that as
So you looking more long on this?
I was just looking long to the D extension to see, how it
Gotcha.
reset at the weekly to see if we'll finally get that like a meaningful
Get that
drop.
level. Yep, yep.
But
Okay.
if he talking about the tariffs and stuff, and then we on risk on right now, um, playing levels, just playing level to level.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you on that. Um, I feel you on watching this D extension. Uh, I'm curious to see how it plays out, honestly. It's gonna be interesting. Um, gonna be interesting for sure. That's that's all I've got right now. But I feel you on this weekly support level here. But it kind of got broken there and we're pulling back. We might have some more retracement, a retracement before we get to that D extension. Especially if the dollar does over the short term strengthen, right? We'll get a retracement on the dollar, but overall gaining some momentum. I think we could see a pullback here and just another basically just giving us a higher low and then moving back to the upside. That I said may drop for a few months with him when he gets in office. I dig that too. So I think we could see a move to the downside and then see that reversal, that low price. So I'm
Can you run a field from that slight C? I call it a slight C. I'm sorry.
no, you good. There you go.
Yeah. And the only reason why I was still looking for this to go up because of this field. And then if you was to put, and I was also basing it off the RSI because it's just past the 50 on the RSI. It just might just be
Yeah.
tapping that just for
Yeah,
a
this is
short
gonna be
term move.
interesting to see. Gonna be interesting to see for sure. Right? Definitely. And then right, it could kind of settle into a range for a little bit. All right. We could stay range bound for a bit. We shall see. We shall see. Right. My eyes are gonna be here on this daily and see if we're able to break this previous support level again. Right. Pull back there. Are we able to break back below that level that you talked about, George? I got 2604. But are we able to break back below and continue this crown pattern to the downside and give us a low price, especially with this stochastic in the sell zone here? We shall see. Let's watch and see. Appreciate it. Any other questions here on gold? No? Okay. That's not the right one, is it? Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. No, not the right one. Which one do we what's the symbol on natural gas? So I
In
always get them
gas.
stuck. In gas. Got it. There we go. There we go. Still trying to move. All right. Coming out of that zone. Still making those. We're starting to make higher highs now, right? Off that B boundary. But all right, coming out of those lows, continuing to the upside. Um, yeah, got slight pullback here, retested some previous resistance areas, and now we're continuing long, right? So didn't get as deep of a retracement as I wanted, but I still was able to grab a position on the retest um, for this continuation to the upside. And I don't know that this stops, especially heading into December and colder months. I don't see this stopping, right? Come down to the 4 and just looking at the fibs running to the upside. Here we are, just shy of a 50% retracement, strong push. And we're trying to get that turnover again to the upside. Maybe we do get a retracement at some point on this fib. Um, that's yet to be seen, but um, I don't know that this slows down. I don't know that this slows down. Right. Like I said, maybe we get a pullback here, which would be great and give us a low price. Um, but ultimately, I'm looking at long positions on this still. uh, and so any pullback, I'm looking for a buying opportunity. I said we already got 1, 2. Yep. So we already got this 382 here. 3384. Okay. Um, and then we're getting this push. So I'm looking forward to continue to the upside. We'll see what happens after the Thanksgiving holiday, but ultimately I'm looking for price to continue moving long there. Joyce said on the weekly, yep, this level here.
Then it's a monthly at 36366.
3.6 right here. Let me do this. Boom. And that was that break and retest that I was talking about there. I had that in there previously. I pulled it out after it broke it, but there's your retest, and then there's your push long, right? Yeah. So and maybe right once we get to that 3685 level, we get a sizable retracement there. But overall, I'm still looking for this to continue moving to the upside. Right, even with pullbacks, I'm still looking long on this. Right, and we'll see what happens when we get to 382 on the daily at $4, and then see if we continue moving to the upside from there. Okay. Questions on? Whoops, no, my bad. I didn't get down to the 1 hour. So that was the 4. Let's see what we have. 80-20 on the 1. So let's see. Let's see if it plays out. Inching closer to that D extension though. So let's watch and see. Maybe we do get that retracement there. Maybe we do get that retracement there before we get to the D extension. Let's see what happens here with this 80-20. On the 1 hour, we got stochastic higher in the zone. Watch and see. Here's that strong bullish candle though. That's a strong move. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? Benny, you got anything for us, bro?
So I'm reading this article, How Tech Bros Bought America's most pro-crypto Congress ever. In total, crypto-related PACs, political action committees, and other groups tied to the industry reeled in more than $245 million, according to the Federal Election Commission data. Nearly 300 pro-crypto lawmakers will take seats in the House and the Senate, according to Stand with Crypto, giving the sector unprecedented influence over the legislative agenda. So they are telling you to your face, they care nothing about the average wage earner in America. They are bought and wholly owned subsidiaries of the corporate elite. So this is the side of the game that we have to play on.
Say that one more time.
This is the side of the game that we have to play on. They reeled in more than $245 million, and you have nearly 300 crypto lawmakers that will take seats in the House. So they don't have time for your regular everyday people agenda. It's disgusting. But it is what it is. That's
Learn
what
the rules of the game.
that's what Citizen United. That's what a decision. That's what it gets you. So whether you're part of this group or whatever, please understand that you need to be on this side of the game. That's it. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, good people. So, listen, that's the message. That's the message. We'll be off tomorrow and Thursday. Recognition of the Thanksgiving holiday. Gobble, gobble. Then we'll be back at it Friday. But I really want those words that Benny just spoke to sink in. We got to master this game. We've got to master this side of the game in order to live the lives that we say we desire to live. Enjoy the break, good people. Happy Thanksgiving. We will be back at it on Friday. Be in the community. We'll continue to post updates there, continue the conversation. You guys have a phenomenal Tuesday. Peace.
Thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving. Bye.
You're welcome. You too.